Figma have decided to take on the likes of Lovable, Bolt, and all the rest of these vibe coding tools with their own version called Figma Make. I've decided to take a little look at it, see how it compares, and ultimately see what the code, design, workflow looks like in order to give you a good understanding of how it competes in this now very competitive landscape. I recently did a comparison of all the vibe coding tools, and I'll link that below, where I just put this design into Lovable, Bolt, Replit, and even Cursor, and pitted them against each other to see what one came out on top. So I'll take the same design, I'll take the same prompt, and see how Figma fares. Let's jump into it. Okay, so let's see paste to Figma frame. So we're going to actually take a frame here, copy that, and paste that in, and pretty nice. I mean, cool little integration there. Let's actually go to my videos and let's find the actual prompt I give it. There we go. Boom, I've designed an AI chat application. I want it to match the design provided, same layout, color themes, blah, blah, blah. There we go. So I've added my design. Can't choose the model, but I'm glad it's using Claude 4. Proves to be one of the better models for this sort of stuff. Looking around a little bit. General basic stuff. Let's fire up, see how we get on. I've got high hopes here because Figma, of course, claim to be, well, they are a design tool, right? And it knows, it knows the structure probably underneath what's going on, which is the same sort of stuff as the MCP server. So they really do have an upper hand to understand the structure of the components. So if you build them correctly, use auto layout and things like that, it should have an upper hand on actually being able to create this, which is something, again, like Lovable and whatever don't. There was one of them, I forget what one it was, maybe it's Bolt, that allowed you to import Figma using a thing called Builder AI or something. That didn't work for me. I could not get that working, but understanding the code really does give it an upper hand here. I mean, not much of a surprise, but that looks really friggin' good. While I've got you here, I want to tell you about my new channel, Command AI, where we stream weekly about all things AI in the world of web and design. It's hosted by myself and Kabaza, and unless you've heard otherwise, it will be streaming this Friday. Check it out, links in the description. Pretty spot on. Which again, I would expect nothing less. It's got access to the raw, the raw code. Is that working? 3.5? No, that's not working. So, but it is selecting there. It's just not actually selecting down there. Select around here. So there's some basic functionality going on here. That's nice. That's really nice. What happens here? Nothing there. Bit of overflow stuff here. But it matches the design, which I think designers are going to really like, that they've got a massive head start here. Anyway, they got carried away there. So it was asking me to set up a Supabase account, which is really nice. Let's read this just so I understand what it's doing, because I don't want to set up another account on Supabase, but I want to know that it understood what it needs to set up in Supabase here. So I created a fully application, blah, blah, blah. Key features, sidebar, model selection, usage limits, responsive design. I mean, yes, it's kind of responsive, but, everything's kind of going over. But again, as a first, one-shot thing, can't complain. Since the chat application that would greatly benefit from persistent conversation storage, user authentication, and real AI API integration, I recommend connecting a Supabase for backend functionality. So it has understood what it needs to do, and I'm glad that it's, straight away going in with the Supabase stuff. Some of these apps, they just kind of build it, and then even though they sort of advertise a integration with Supabase, they don't really prompt you to set anything up. So I really like that. But overall, I think this is really good. New chat even works. And I'm trying to think, because you kind of want this back and forth between Figma, so then I can go in here and design something or change the design more specifically and then see that reflected. But I think what would be the case is that let's say we update something somewhere, you'd select that frame And then realistically, can we see? That's the thing. You can't. There's still a disconnect between the design process and this. It's almost like you need to be basically fully, you know, done with this design before you then take it into Make. And even then, like there are many pages in not so much in this app, but in many apps. Like, can I, if I copy this frame as an example, I paste that there. Okay, good. Create a new chat page like this. Can I then? Do I need to go back and forth from Figma to Make, from Figma to Make? It. Don't get me wrong. This is really nice, but I'm not sure how much designers are how much designers are asking for this when you already have things like Lovable and very capable vibe code tools that can produce an okay design. Again, this was the by far the best one. It still needed some work, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking right now. Let's see what happens here, because I want to know if it overwrites my app or whether it actually adds this page as a new chat. So let's see what happens. Okay, we're back in the room, and once again, it looks really good. I did just click new chat, and new chat windows look as they do. And going into old chats works as it should. I'm impressed. I'm genuinely impressed. From a design perspective, not necessarily a build perspective, there's still a lot of work to tie this all together to bring it into, to make it a workable tool. But for sure, if you just want to, let's say, get a head start of a developer coming in and sort of tying this all together, I don't think they'll be particularly happy with that, to be honest, but it's a head start nonetheless. I mean, you tell me. Let's have a little look. To me, this looks, I don't know what this, I don't know why that border is there, but all the colors seem correct. The positioning seems correct. I'm seeing something funky going on up there with the button. Maybe a little bit more bold, that text, but these look really spot on to the design. So yeah, handling edits, doing things like that. I think if you work through one by one, seems like a pretty cool tool. Let's take a look at the edit button. And my assumption is that we can start to do very basic things here. Like, yeah, so border radius, spacings. What else we got here? What's this? Go to source. So you could just look at the code there. Edit with prompt, edit properties. Okay, so this should just switch between this and this. But again, yeah, it's just basic. I mean, that doesn't even change that, but got to make sure you select the right element, I guess. So depending on the element that you select, so let's say remove orange border, add only on hover, so selected mode. See what this does. So there is reasoning going on, and it's showing you that reasoning data, which is something interesting coming back from Claude, especially like API usage and stuff like that. But there you go, it's doing its thing. It's showing me the code mode. Okay, boom. I mean, it did it. What's the library? Bring styling context from libraries into Make on the start button. So this is nice, so that you could have a design system or a set of components that it basically reads from, giving it a bit of context on how it should build things. That's quite nice if you've got a suite of products. I'm not sure how useful that would be if you are, you're just building one product or isolate lots of isolated products, but still quite nice. But yeah, that was really nice. Let's try and see if we can fix this error. Remove odd top border from this button. This will be a challenging one because I don't know, like it sounds like that's probably a border on a wrapping div rather than a border on the actual button. So let's see if it's gonna figure that one out. It's done its job. It did it. And this is good to see as well. You've reached your current limit. Currents will reset tomorrow. but it kind of gives you a taster, and you could probably work on this for a few minutes a day. I mean, realistically, this is just trying to suck you in to actually pay for it, but it's hard to say whether that's like a certain amount of messages or whether it's a certain amount of tokens or whatever. But yeah, basic usage on the free plan. So as you saw, the design is very accurate, and the fact that it's sort of got access to the code underneath, I wouldn't expect anything less of an app like this, but really impressive. And I think it answers a lot of what designers want, which is, can I create something? Can I make a website from the designs that I've created? Now, this kind of competes with Figma's sites. I think Figma are throwing a lot at the wall here without really much kind of guidance about what story they're looking to tell with regards to all these tools. They're just kind of like jumping on a lot of bandwagons here, hoping one of them pans out. Now, from my perspective, Figma's sites would be something you use for marketing websites, for sort of mostly static, some fairly dynamic data coming from a CMS, something like that. Whereas Figma Make is more for web applications that are much more dynamic, much more complex, that you would potentially get started building some sort of prototype that looks really nice. But there's still a lot of work to do in bringing all that together. It's probably not going to hook up your Supabase account and tie it to every little thing. That's probably what you're going to do, or you're going to hand this over to a developer as a starting point, knowing it matches the design that you've done, and you can develop a bit of a workflow where you've done a lot of the heavy lifting from a design perspective in the beginning, and then the developer can kind of do their magic with the integration stuff. So ultimately, really impressive. If you are a designer, this is well worth checking out, but I do think it has a bit of a ways to go to start catching up with the likes of Lovable and all the rest of it. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you to my Patreons for supporting the channel, and thank you to watching until the very end. And until next time, keep on vibing.